Oh, that's a nice mud flooder in the background.
Yeah, I want to show this one. This is a good one for a mud flood. This is in the center of Buffalo, city of Buffalo. Now look at you see. Can you see this little area right here? It almost looks like it's like goes down, doesn't it, Cam?
Yeah, yeah, like it's sort of a stairway type thing.
Or almost like it's coming out of the ground more, right? Now, did I get?
And those windows too are pretty flooded.
So that's that. Now that's right on top of it, right there. Effectively, that's the old. This is St. Paul's
Oh,
Episcopal
okay.
Cathedral.
Wow, look at that. Yeah, right.
Oh, okay, got a little bit of a lag. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Now I can see that. The doorway going straight in. Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is look at that. The whole thing is surrounded by this.
Wall.
Yep, it's got the green patch in here, but it looks like in this picture, it looks like I don't know, like that is like empty almost. You know, this almost looks like this doesn't look right. You know, so what do you think we're looking at here?
I mean, it looks like, you showed that first map with the grid system, and it looks like there's been, yeah, somebody's come in and covered them up a bit, covered up the old system, the old grid,
Well,
and they've just sort of, they couldn't be bothered digging the whole church out, so they just dug out the doors so they could get into the lower
I think
lower
I could find.
portions. I mean,
I
that's what
think
it
it
looks like, isn't it?
I think that like we all say, stumbled upon this stuff. What's really cool is you could find these churches in here, that Episcopal church. It's really neat because instead of just using the Google Earth, I could use these old. Okay, so you see Sheldon Square.
Yeah.
Now
Oh, there it is. Yeah, yeah.
it's like it's not perfectly depicted, and it's like they don't show the actual grandiosity of them. Like they kind of downplay it. Here, let me show you an example of that. Actually, I want to show you. So the Pan American Expositions, like we were talking about, right? Now look at what they do. Here's the insane asylum, you'd call it, the Richardson complex. Okay, I did that for Halloween, right? You see how you can it's very prominent. You can tell that it's a building and everything. But look what it's right next to. Can you see that, Cam?
The hospital, or oh, there.
And then
Okay.
you have the Pan American Exposition, but
Where was the
spread out.
exposition? Oh, there. Okay, I see. 1901. Okay.
You can't really see it, right? You see how it's almost like hidden.
Yeah, well, it doesn't jump
Also,
out, does it? No. Just looks like another part of Buffalo.
right, like they purposely hid it, or we're trying to, and it doesn't even show this portion of it. It's all xed out and stuff. It's all symmetrical, you know, and it's just funny that you can actually see the insane asylum more prominently
Mhm.
than the grandiosity of the Pan American Exposition. It's almost like they're like, don't look there, you know.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, it could have been there buried, and look at the size of Buffalo. I mean, I'm sure back then that the population wasn't that huge, so people wouldn't have even had necessarily known it was there. They could have just been there digging it out, and when it's ready, they go, "Look what we just built." Or when it's nearly ready, "Oh, we're about to start building this," and then they'll open it up. But what's there now? Like, what's on that site now? I think that they left one building, did they? Is that right?
I'll show you what's there now. Let's
Because
see.
what was it? How many acres?
I'm not sure off the top of my
Three
head. I don't
three
want to
hundred or
say.
something? It's a ridiculousness.
I have a picture of what it looks like over it.
Ah,
Yeah,
I just thought Pan,
yeah, exactly.
the trickster god. Peter Pan,
Yeah, right. The one who likes to
Never Neverland.
do mischievous things. You know what? Let me do this. Pan
Mm.
and layout. Yeah, so this is the layout of it right now. So where it is right now, Cam, is area of, like in this area right here. It's all
The cemetery.
completely gone. The Pierce Arrow. Okay, so the Pierce Arrow complex is the top left of it.
Where's that piece?
Right here.
Oh, there. Sorry. Yep. Yep. Oh, so wow. Okay. It's just all
Yeah,
housing.
it's all housing and a portion of Delaware Park over here. Yeah.
Ah,
So here's the insane asylum, right? Right
that's,
here.
they didn't knock that one over, did they? Might need that one again.
It's crazy. So they completely laid over all of it. So here, okay, so there's a Richardson complex. It's like literally right next to it,
It's just ridiculous.
right past Elmwood.
I mean, just imagine how much cost, how much it would cost to get rid of those buildings and turn it into a park.
A lot of them had fires, or even like, well, for at least for the churches,
Mm.
like, or the old parish, they get they get around that with the
Yeah, well, damaged building, right?
fires.
Oh, sorry, it's damaged. It's a threat to
Okay,
people.
the midway portion of the Pan Am Exposition is now for sure this complex right here, the Great Arrow Complex. So this would be the top left. And I want to get into this place, Cam, because there are tunnels underneath here
Mm.
in the Pierce Arrow complex. So the Pierce Arrow is the old midway. So this would be the top left. So it was like this area right here, Cam. And it's all completely,
Just gridded houses, little boxes.
yeah. Yep. It's crazy. They completely just changed it all up. Got rid of the Star Fort at the southern tip of Buffalo and possibly backfilled it, filled and disassembled. Like John Levi said, I really like the idea of it. Well, I mean, like I said in some of these pictures, if it's old megalithic stuff,
That
you see
picture,
them.
that looks like it's been mud flooded. And that said, what, 20s or 30s? I mean, this is, how many history is just not made. The more you look into it, the less sense it makes.
Yeah, it's
I was talking to Jay Wiedner, did a couple of interviews with him, and he was saying he'd watched a video about, is it all, an illusion, is like a projected reality, and they were saying the best way to find out if it was is you would find a lot of mistakes in the past, because all the energy would be put into the now to make it perfect, and they wouldn't have put so much time into the past. So I don't know, when you look into the past, there's so many just different, because that picture from the 20s and 30s looked like it was mud flooded, like there was mud still there. But then we got a picture from 1805, a map with a different street design on it, the radial. Then the other one was 1885, and it had changed and it had mud flood buildings already, but it looked like it had been cleared. But then again, in the 20s, it looks like there's another mud flood.
or in this picture, you see this one I'm looking at right now. They're saying the Erie Canal,
Yep.
that it was freshly built. That's the narrative that they're telling us here in this waterfront book that I put in the last video. Yeah, look, you have weeds growing through these blocks now. Are these blocks, or, they never show the pictures. They love to show everything that they've done, like this type of stuff, and they like to show all that, but they never show them placing, for example, blocks like that, even though, like, that's why I wanted to address that they had the ability to with those huge, massive truss cantilevered earth movers, right? Why wouldn't they show it? Show it probably because it was already there. I mean, look, you got weeds growing out of it, right? And they concoct a story around it. That's kind of what we're saying,
And that bit of the wall where the weeds are looks like it's been cracked a little bit, like it's had a bit of shock, if you know what I mean, and it's sort of cracked, and that's given access to the plants to get in as well.
Also, too, Cam, you
That other
notice
corner
like,
doesn't look as bad.
look at too. I mean, there's some like cut action going on here too, almost like,
Scraping, yeah.
or like, well, look at this is
Oh,
like an
there,
L
okay,
shape.
that angle, okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, like Sacsayhuama
Yeah,
ish.
yeah,
And are these huge
polygonal.
blocks? Right. So that's kind of, I think that
Yeah, that's very telling.
this was all buried, and what they're putting forth as construction photos are either doctored or they're photos of them digging it out.
Yeah, I think
And
it's digging them out. It's like they show us everything in reverse. You know, they're actually digging stuff out and reclaiming it, but they tell us they're building it.
yeah, and look at how old and everything just seems. It's supposedly all just built. I mean, think about it. 1925,
Yeah,
they don't have this stuff. There's not any piers here in Buffalo. You know, I question how they sank the piers at the Peace Bridge and the caissons used because the current is just unbelievable. Legitimate footage of it or pictures of it at least. There are pictures of them putting the steel truss, you know, bridge over, but not the concrete
the pillars, yeah.
piers.
The same with Sydney Harbour Bridge. And the pillars are like
Okay.
real, they look really sort of old school, old world, big sort of brick pylons. And you can see the bridge being built, but yeah, not the pylons. They're just suddenly there.
This is what I was talking about with Philip. This is now they're dredging,
Yeah.
and think about now they can use this stuff right here, Cam, as the backfill. That's kind of what I was looking for
But
this
to fill
picture
up the
earlier
canals,
to fill up, for example, to do something like before, after. Really can't tell, or is this
yeah,
before?
yeah.
Is this
So
after?
yeah, I got you. Yeah, yeah. That's
Did they cement it
they've
all?
been filling it. Yeah.
Right. So oh, I thought you said that they dug down to it. Yeah. Well, we probably dug down to it here, filled up over there. Perfectly,
Yeah. So
definitely
that picture
feasible.
there is actually after the one where it was empty, not the other way around.
So yeah. Okay. There you go. Yep. So this is before. Now what? Yeah. Completion of the barge canal system in 1918 rendered the former Erie Canal obsolete, allegedly. The two canals diverged. The older thoroughfare, once choked with boats, was abandoned. This is a 1926 view of the commercial street of the bridge, looks northwest. Okay. 1926 view. And this is during the 1920s and
And they're
30s.
filling that. I mean, that just is ridiculous. All those businesses and buildings right on the canal. They could have all just had a boat and free transport, free trade, but no, you can't have
All the
that.
way up inland,
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
way up into Depew.
yeah. It was a massive, massive system, but you can't have that because it's free. And this is the thing about water, that obviously water was such a big thing, but water is free energy when you think about it. All it does is flow downhill, right? So all you need is a bit of a gradient and you got free energy.
Look at this too. Wow. There's layers here, Kim. We got this wall. This is an old stone wall. Looks like they're saying this is Lake Erie. As far as where it is in position, I don't know. Or I'm sorry, Erie Canal.
Also, look at that
But look at
bridge.
how old. Yeah.
You got this big brick wall, this big, stone masonry construction. But then with the bridge, they can only build that out of wood and that little wooden structure on top. That's what they could build, not these massive stone walls.
Right. Exactly. And look at too. It goes down another layer over
Mm.
here, like terraced, like almost like the plane. Like I said before, like the plane is made of the. I have an idea. Like the plane is made, or those prisons or whatever that Martin does. Those dark prisons of Shoal or whatever. I always forget the artist's name, but they're really uh, cool depictions of dungeons. Look like underground.
Oh, yeah.
Man, there's a part of me that thinks like the plane that we allegedly might be on, that allegedly might look to appear to be flat. What if the whole it's just comprised of these blocks, Cam, like Legos, like megaliths a mix of megaliths and even brick. You know, I don't know. It's great. It's like, what if this is the substrate? You know, what if this is the plane, and it's just the whole plane is a series of megalithic blocks interstrewn with smaller ones. I don't know. And we're just coring them out constantly. Like John Levi did a video of it, kind of sort of, where it just like, is the whole plane blocks? Like
Yeah, where he showed those guys cutting. Yeah.
You know, Erie Canal. Construction photo of Erie Canal.
Yeah.
I'd say more like digging it out, huh?
Is that one still there, the Erie, or?
See, I don't know. The Erie Canal portions of it are, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know exactly where each one of these pictures are. You know, like they kind of do that purposely and just show a picture and say, oh, this is a picture in 1986. New York embarked on its final effort to improve the capacity of the Erie Canal. But then in the other picture, it just said that it was obsolete not too long afterwards. Doesn't make sense.
No, look at all those logs lying around. What are they doing down there? And that, do you see the ladder? See the guy on the ladder?
Yep, of course I do. Has to be a ladder. Yeah, so you know, seems like they dug it out in certain places and backfilled it in other places, right? I think that we came or dug out the radial pattern in Buffalo.
Well, I mean, if there was a mud flood, you know, the canals would be filled as well. It's interesting. And with that picture where it had the two levels, you know, maybe these canals had like a deeper section in the middle of them, which is like a faster current. So you sort of can pull on the side, get your stuff on, and then you go into the middle and you start cruising.
Interesting. Yeah, so here's another point now about the caissons, like you said about the bridge. Notice how they're, you know, that's actually kind of similar A-frame to the Coral Castle at Leeds.
Yeah, it is.
But here, what I want to say with this is, they show all these pictures of the massive construction that they're doing along the river and Black Rock. That's right near me. But yeah, they don't have the pictures. Why wouldn't they show the pictures of them dropping those caissons in the middle of the Niagara River in that current? It'd be phenomenal, because I question that how they did it. But like, you know, like to incorporate what Adapt 2030 was saying, maybe the water wasn't there. I mean, it's hard for me to think that, because how fast it's going, Cam, it'd be hard to divert that. But boy, and that's, you know, of course they can have technology that we don't know about, but boy, to sink caissons and that the miles per hour at the Peace Bridge is like 12 miles per hour of water. Power there is unbelievable. I don't know how they sank those caissons.
And the whole thing would have to set as well, wouldn't it? You know, properly before it could stay there. Yeah. So like literally you'd have to take the water away or build a massive wall around it or something, or because I've looked into the London Bridge, because it was, well, I think they said the 1600s, and they go into this story of how they made this big bell that they put underwater, and you can go down there and you know, it keeps the water out. But they don't approach the topic that it would be pitch black in there. And if you started lighting candles, you'd be burning all your oxygen up. So, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. They sort of put out these stories, but when you really dig into them just a little bit, they just don't make sense.
Speaking of ladders, can you see this picture up?
Yep, the old factory there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we can see the ladder on the roof. Yep.
Yep, of course. Shout out to UAP.
So it's a set. That's a set.
Excuse me. So here's what we're looking at, Cam. What I want to say here is you got some canal. This would be the portion of the Erie Canal. Now, this is the Niagara River, and this is saying the pumping station, the old pumping station at City Works. I don't have a date on this picture, but I'd say it's about late or early 1900s, late 1800s. The pumping station is there in the middle of the river.
Pumping station in the water, is it?
Right there. That's that. Now that's.
Oh, yeah. I think, I've seen you did a video on this a while ago.
Right. Now, I'm just trying to show that I want to know how there's no pictures of them sinking that thing, Cam. And it's always there. It's even in this old one. See it?
Oh, yeah, still. So is it old world? Is it like old? Has it
Absolutely.
got red brick
I
on it?
believe so. Well, it's old. It's got blocks on it.
And what is
But
it? Has it got like a big turbine or something there?
so what I think what they're saying is it's the old water intake. So effectively, what it is, Cam, is it's the old water intake for Buffalo before they made a bigger one out in the opening of the lake a little bit. And
So that's
what it
fresh
is,
water, is it? That's all fresh water?
yep. So this is the old pumping station right
So
here.
it could have been catching water and then funneling it underground into the system.
That's what it was doing. So there is a tunnel from here to here. And that's going to be one of my places where I want to go because I can actually get there on the tracks.
Wow.
I was on those tracks before for these mud flooded looking buildings or terraformed, most likely buildings. So yeah, if you can see my screen up right now, there definitely is a tunnel from here to here, and then also 100% for sure because I've seen schematics of it. Now that pumping station that I talked to you about, where that Depew Tower connects to, is right here.
Oh,
The
yeah.
huge pumping station. See that?
Yep.
So now, Cam, what there is for sure is there definitely is an underground tunnel from this building to the pumping station here because I've seen schematics. It actually says there's a tunnel going from here to the pumping station under the Peace Bridge and from here out into the lake.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I want to go check out. That's kind of the next adventures
I
that I'm going to
mean,
go
that'd
do.
be free energy, wouldn't it? If it came in at one part of the tunnel, with the flow of the river, the current, just push it down through a few turbines and exit it out at the end back into the river.
Exactly.
That's free energy, man.
Yep, exactly. And you have the Star Forts. Oh, it's a Bastion Fort. No, probably was a healing center. You know, I'm
Wow.
sure it had defensive things also. But yeah, so they were doing something with the energy of water, and they were able to manipulate the topography, and it's proven in the definitions of the radial street pattern design.
Hmm. And also all the cymatics we see everywhere. That they're all images you see in water, aren't they? All the church cathedral windows and things, and so it's definitely water.
See, there you go. There's a close up of the that's Erie Canal, Cam, and that looks old brick to me. Ladder.
Oh yeah, right. Pretty big blocks too.
Right. No, no, so this picture. That was a close up, but look at the blocks there,
Mm.
and look at the kind of the disparaging in what you would deduce in technology because
Because yeah,
unless
they're built up. Yeah,
yeah, and then you have things. So this is much of the land along the waterfront,
and again, it's just perfect, isn't it?
Squaw Island.
What they could
That's
build
right
with
near
those
me.
little wooden houses, not the wall.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like if they can move these blocks, unless the blocks were there and you moved it away, or you know, that's hard to discern there. Maybe we found them.
Well,
Maybe
look
we
how
did
tall
move
that
them.
wall is, and it's
Yeah,
buried.
exactly.
But it's, if that house was on the ground, that wall would be taller than the roof of the
And
house.
Cam, there's no pictures of or video of anything of them moving these blocks or placing these blocks at all.
No.
Even though it could be done with those massive machines, so why wouldn't they show it, right? And all this
I
imagery.
mean, then, we also have what kind of tech did they have? We look at things as being hard, because the tech we've got, but we see all these things like the holy hand grenades and the staffs and all these, funny bits of antiquitech. They could have just been playing with, magnetics. How do we know they can't? It was like that's what Ed Leeds Scallon was doing, right? He said that he was changing the polarity of the bricks so they would basically resist the Earth, and it's like two magnets. They would push away from each other, and then all he had to do was push the block because it would be sitting up basically on a magnetic field, like mag trains, like all these mag trains, these super fast mag trains. So maybe that's what they had. Maybe that's how they could move big blocks up and down. They didn't have to be big and strong or have machinery. They just changed, worked from the atomic level. That's a good mud flood. Geez. That window under the stairs is a bit shaded.
That's why I put this up. Yeah, that looks a little bit aftermarket. This is a little preview for my next one, bushwhacking the Basilica. But to show what these old mud flooded buildings look like, that's an example of an aftermarket stairway, I guess you'd say. What do you think, Cam?
Definitely, yeah. I don't think anyone would be designing windows under stairways. And look above that doorway too. See above the arch on that door? See how it goes in that brickwork?
Yep.
I wonder if that's like a retrofit as well, if the door used to go up higher. Because that window there
too is that the dual, a lot of these buildings in Buffalo have like this old brick on the bottom, and then it changes to the red brick.
Again, I don't know. What are we looking at? Is it different societies? Because they'll tell you straight out, oh yeah, all temples and churches are pretty much built on the foundations of other ones. So why not buildings?
So I think that there are some different mechanisms. One might be, like we addressed in the beginning, just coming right out of, seemingly coming out of the mountains, Cam. You got a flow like this, coming off the mountains maybe, like you said, or the liquid, or getting a little bit warm, or maybe even coming out of, maybe even coming out of the ground.
Yeah, it could be. See where it says 240 there? Like that actually looks like a point where the next one across where the mud could have come out of the ground.
Yep, I see. Yep, I agree. Like it's coming up and out, right? Or maybe even coming off or coming from some place up here and down, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now that would be a flow.
Yep.
Okay, a flow from mountain. The other one that we had would be the Great Ziggurat or where this one I would recommend looking up one of the Conspiracy R Us. I forget which video that was, Cam, but this is one where, again, I don't know the mechanism that causes it. What we're seeing is the after effects. What we addressed on this one is it looks like it may have came up from the bottom, like a mud volcano, more slow type of deal. Or, I think Conspiracy R Us had that video where it looks like it's coming up from the surface.
So just like a massive bubble, basically, of mud. It just goes blip.
Well, yeah, look at. I mean, I don't know, Ken, because there's like how you said and mentioned the 240. It looks like it was coming from a specific point. Now, when we got on the ground in that video that I showed earlier, it did look like there was a flow from a direction because we were more on top of it. But when you zoom out, this just looks like it came. I don't see any one point. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like it's flowed from anywhere. It just looks like it's come out of the ground.
Right.
But this is, how if you look at those, those hot mud lakes and the bubbles go bloop, and they spray mud everywhere as well.
Exactly.
Imagine that would also account for the mud on the roof and all that kind of stuff and how it was buried.
And it would also have a little bit of flow to it as well, right?
Yeah.
And then we addressed the, let's go to, oh boy, you know what? I can just do it. I don't even want to, for the algorithms.
Al Gore.
Let's see if I can do it by memory. Remember that finger? Okay, that little green finger. Go down to the bottom of it, and then you'll see a pink patch. And then find that ridge line. And then you can find the Lichtenberg. Seemingly. Now look at the asymmetry here.
Yeah, look at everything around. Yeah, that's lower. To remind everyone that Lichtenberg effect, that fanning effect, is lower than the land in the foreground.
Is that like a geologist would say? Is that erosion from ancient stream beds? I don't think so. So this is higher.
It can't be because it's backwards. Because that land's high. If it flowed off, those rivers are backwards. If they're rivers.
Exactly. Yeah. So that doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Say that.
No.
And you would see them.
But you can imagine that if that's an electric arc going into land that's higher.
So what do you think though? Is it bringing it from the plateau, or is it like removing it? That's
It
kind of the
looks like
question.
it's sparked into it.
Sparked into it. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe there
It
was
does.
a bit of water in there, a bit of moisture
Mm.
in the ground, and it's just gone, and just sort of as it's gone in, it's just left its mark. But it looks like that area was probably might have had a bit of moisture around the edge, but it was pretty much dry because it's kind of stopped there. If there was water, you could imagine it would have run through that because it can charge through the current of water.
For sure. Look at the symmetry of it too. You know,
It just looks like it's something that's just
like
if you can imagine almost like the earth covered in like a big sort of charge moving forward, and then it hits different material, like so less water, and that's what stops it. And it sort of goes, and as it stops, it just sparks into it. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So like into it, and then good point too about the could have had water. To spark it off even more. Because or to make it more equal out. I don't know, because again, what strikes my eye is the symmetry of it.
Yeah, that half circle sort of bit.
Yeah, very interesting. So yeah, 3 different types of what we would say might mudflood be, and what happened after they came, and how we may have dug stuff out. And there's a lot more to be dug out. Seems like, man,
Definitely. So yeah, leave us comments, guys. What do you think? Are we looking at one event? Are we looking at multiple events? Yeah, what do you think
about us digging it out? Yeah, did we dig out certain places? Did we backfill with sludge stuff? Yeah, definitely leave comments for sure. And for having me again, Cam.
Yeah, no worries. And how recent do we all think these floods were too? Just from that photo from the 20s, like how recent was this? So leave us your comments, and yes, thanks Dustin for spending some more time and sharing that info with us. Guys, you'll find Dustin's link to his channel in the description below, so make sure you go and subscribe and show some love. And it's probably, what's the time there, 1 a.m. or something?
Oh, not too bad, 11:30.
Oh, there you go, not too bad. Better let you get to sleep. So yeah, awesome, thanks for that. And yeah, we'll catch up soon. And guys, the next interview should be Dustin, I, and Paul Cook. So if you haven't seen Paul's channel, definitely go and check it out, because he is doing some awesome work and uncovering some really cool stuff. So thanks, mate, and we will chat soon.
Yeah, man. Peace, brother. Take care.
So, see you, mate.